Hello useless people. As most of you guys know, there are 5 different roles in League of Legends that exist. Some of them get even more tasks they need to fulfill when you start climbing in rank, while others still have to do one specific thing. For example, a DC. It doesn't matter if you are playing in silver or in diamond, your task is to farm CS and get those items as fast as possible to deal damage later on, and trying to position right to survive as long as possible. Meanwhile, you can see a huge difference in the playstyle of a silver support and a high elo support player. While the silver player is maybe setting up some kills for his ADC and putting one excuse ward into a bush to improve his vision score, the high elo supporter is playing around cooldowns, setting up better visions, knows how and when to roam, and just know the matchups better. You can learn all these skills if you really want to improve, or just turn your brain off and play SHEN support, which is so easy that not even one of us hardstucks could mess it up, and here is how to play it. SHEN has probably one of the strongest level 1, so you want to make sure to abuse it by going for an invade with your homies and give all of them a credit for their participation. When your team is not in a mood to go for an invade, just camp in one of these bushes and wait till the enemy ADC passes by and receive him with a warm welcome by dashing right through him. This gives your ADC some time to deal some damage since they don't have much of it in early game, so setting the agent on fire was definitely the right choice. But you should hold yourself back after these kind of success and not gain too much confidence in the early game, since from now on you have to wait till level 3 to unlock your combo, so avoid getting poked down while waiting. Sometimes, there are some opportunities to fight already when you have unlocked 2 skill buttons, when the enemy feels too confident attacking your ADC, so you taunt them and give them some hits, but don't forget to ping your over-motivated ADC back since the cooldown on SHEN spells aren't that low. When you reach level 3 you can go in whenever you want when the enemy ADC gets too close, since when you hit your taunt you just press Q and W and your shield will make you nearly immortal because of the low amount of damage an ADC deals during the laning phase. Meanwhile, your ADC can deal damage without being afraid that he could get attacked by any kind of enemy. The others can't ignore SHEN support since he deal too much damage while they try to focus you ADC. But there is a huge disadvantage. SHEN support is very dependent on his E-spell. When you use it as an engage tool, you have to make sure to hit the enemy with it, otherwise he can just walk away to take a safe distance and to lead your ADC who thought he could go in. There are also several bad matchups against ranged champions, those who can poke SHEN down while he can't get in their attack range. When your jungler decides to gank you lane, what rarely happens in this game, you can be sure to win the fight since SHEN has a really solid gank setup, and once the enemy gets stunned by SHEN Z, and then the rest can just follow up with all their abilities. So just remember, whenever you hit your E on the enemy ADC, it's GG. The next power spike obviously comes when you unlock your personal TP spell, which you can use the same when you are playing SHEN top. When you see some of your teammates getting bullied in an outnumbered situation, just press R and be the hero they needed. By using your shield on your allies with your W, you can prevent your teammates from dying, which ends up with a happy top laner that gets fed. But most of the times this takes some risks with it, since you leave your brain dead ADC behind on a bot lane with a 1v2 situation, and most of the time they are only capable to do one specific thing.
An ally has been slain.
The other disadvantage is, when you decide to TP away, for example to the top lane, you have to recall back to your base and walk all the way back to your lane, which takes a lot of time, giving your ADC more opportunities to die in lane. But the ult can also be used to prevent your teammates nearby from dying, so you don't have to think about the way back. So after you hit level 6, make sure to start some plays around the map and keep an eye on your teammates if they are low on health or need a helping hand to save their ass from giving away 300 gold. Since it is quite hard to hit a taunt during the laning phase, especially when they play champions that have a higher range like Caitlyn, but luckily that thing places random traps inside bushes, so if someone walks into them, they automatically walk towards it to shoot their headshot, forgetting that I was hiding and can collect my kill without any problems. SHEN also gives you a great setup to dive enemy ADC by dashing right through them and taking some turret shots while your ADC can finish them off. And here you can witness me failing a tower dive miserably, forcing me to walk further into enemy territory, but I somehow managed to set the ADC on fire before I get charmed to make it an equal trade. After that terrible performance, I tried to help my jungle fighting the Drake, but when I saw the misfortune joining the fight as well, I decided to go over the wall to kill the Caitlyn. Meanwhile, my jungler got split up into 4 parts, crouching helpless to each other, asking what the fuck are you doing, while I was waiting for my dash cooldown so I can help my panicking slimeball from his death, and we went out of the fight with 3 kills in our favor. When you are low in a fight and there is really no escape sign, the enemy team is coming from every direction, you just can go in and spam your abilities, and you will be surprised how many shields you get that prevent you from dying, especially when you are fed. So sometimes this kind of fights turn around into a triple kill for your team. Here you can witness how many damage you can shield from pressing W, but the guy in the footage isn't smart enough to stay inside the circle, so he had to make a near-death experience. So I had a tough time catching these 2 morons shooting bullets from a 10 kilometers distance, so after 7 unsuccessful minutes I asked kindly my Samira if she please could stop pushing the wave, and surprisingly she did. So I could finally dive into these annoying poke champions and collect our first kill. Communication is everything. We were a little bit overextending, so we realized a bit too late that the prehistoric guy was coming for us, so I went in to save my friend that has the skill to count to 4, and we were able to survive long enough until our snowballer came in to rescue us. The other two tried to flee, so I walked up to give my sniper some vision to get rid of them. The support thought she would be safe back there recalling behind her tower, but our minions were distracting it, so I could just walk up to her, and she used her weird drone next to her to survive a bit longer, but got already decided over her faith. The problem is when your teammate is looking for some extra challenge and decides to pick an ADC that even needs more time to deal damage than an ordinary one. You can't look for fights during the early game because you can be sure that you will lose them until this guy gets 3 items. So before you waste most of your lifetime, just go to the mid lane and waste your lifetime there by contributing absolutely nothing for your team. But I somehow survived this by using my incredible shield. It was Drake time again, but since the enemy team was already there we had to take the fight, and while the others were attacking each other I saw the hedgehog sneaking away towards the Drake, so after I got rid of him no one was interested anymore. Drake fight round 2 and I got a little bit too overexcited and jumped straight into the dragon pit and found out they were already doing the Drake. Luckily the enemy team didn't see my maneuver, so I thought I could steal it. I got caught in a sticky situation, but I am Shen after all, so can I just run away and be confident that they would never get me. And if you want to know how I won a game with a jungler that has a 10% win rate, click on this video right here.